individually in our groups, and just going to work on looking at the last game, making the corrections, and then also applying them to any long-term corrections we want to make that we'll study over the rest of the week. So we've got 10 games left. We need to keep growing as a football team and building on what we've done and what we haven't done, and make the strongest run we can for the next 10 weeks, and that's what we're planning on doing. Okay, what questions do you have?
John, there was a report that McCory has a high ankle sprain. Can you confirm that?
I don't feel like I need to. He's got an injury to his ankle at this point. We'll just see where it goes.
Two-part question here. With the bye week upcoming, we hear a lot about sometimes players just needing a little bit of a break in football just to get their body rested. Do coaches have somewhat of a similar opportunity? Do you get, whether or not that's what you're going to do, do you have the option to do that, or is it just a little bit different?
No, you get some time. I mean, there'll be the weekend. We'll get off on the weekend for the coaches, and it'll help. It's a long season. It really is. It's a grind. Guys are in here. My brother always used to say, the season's long and the players and the coaches. He was a player, then he was a coach. And once he was a coach, he'd say, the players never give the coaches enough credit for how hard they grind and how long they work on the game plan, the preparation. And the coaches never give the players enough of credit for how hard it is on their bodies and how physically demanding the game is. And he said, if you're a coach or a player and you kind of get your guys to understand each other a little bit, he felt like that was a big plus. So yeah, we've tried to do that too. You got to recognize how hard it is on the players, mentally and physically, and then how hard it is on the coaches too. So the coaches and the players will get a little bit of time. Players get more time. They need more time physically, and the coaches will get a little bit of time, and we'll be ready to go.
Second part to that, with players having a little bit of a break off, does that give you an opportunity in the front office to kind of have more time together with fewer practices going on right now?
What's your real question?
That's it.
Sure, we get more time together. We spend a lot of time together anyway. Eric's office, my office is right there. Eric's office is right there. So we're pretty much talking all the time.
Hey, Coach.
You got some other question you want to ask, but that's okay.
Last game against the Chargers, you guys have the most complete game so far. Against the Bengals, was maybe the tackling, lack of concentration, the main factors of the loss?
No, those are just terms. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it. And when you watch, we didn't tackle well. There's no question about that. I mean, the biggest problem we have on defense right now in terms of big plays is not getting guys on the ground, whether it's been underneath slant routes or screen routes, or in one case we got to screen and go. That's the first time we've had one thrown over our head, really, I believe, this year. But most of them have been catch and run plays, and go back to the Kansas City game. That's been on and off a problem all year. And until we get that fixed, we'll be a very mediocre defense, generally speaking. Our guys understand that. We play like you said, a very complete team was your word. When we play really good defense, we're tackling, and that's got to get done. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Sometimes we're not pushing to the right zone, so there's more space in there than there should be. Other times we take a bad angle. Sometimes the guy's not covered. There's different reasons for it, but the results are, uniformly not good. And you're consistent, good defense when you consistently do all the little things well. And when we start doing all the little things well, then we're going to be a better defense.
John, what can be done as far as the running game, and I'm specifically talking about running backs. What can be done to get more maybe efficiency or productivity from the running backs in the running?
We just have to block better, scheme better, run better. I mean, it's a very general question you're asking. It doesn't really get a better answer than that. There is no better answer than that.
I'm just saying, when you look at the numbers, it just looks like in past years you've gotten a lot more rushing yards out. And I mean, from we're just asking. I mean, you know better than
we got to run it better. We got to block it better. We got to scheme it better. I mean, that's a general question. It's a general answer. There are specifics in there in terms of schemes, and every play stands on its own. But we can't go through all. How many run plays have we had this year that haven't been successful? We could go through every one of them, and you get the specific answer. So it's a general question. It's a general answer.
With Rashad Bateman, looks like he had a big game with 80 yards, beat zone coverage on all 3 of his catches. How good is it to see a rookie wide receiver? He beat zone coverage, it looked like, on his 3 catches. How good is it to see a rookie kind of suss that out, and find those empty areas to make plays in?
I mean, he just ran the routes. He ran them well. I'm thinking of an overcrossing route. Man or zone, it's the same route. There are some routes where you've got to make man or zone adjustments based on the route. There's not that many of them in any system, really. It just depends what they want to play against you. But I think he's just doing a good job generally for his second game. And I plan as a head coach on him being better and better every single week. That's going to be good. We get Sammy back, that's going to be good. So we get Nick Boyle back, that's going to be good. We just kind of build from there.
John, given Justin Tucker's success, do you, though I think 57, 58, I think those are the two situations. How much did you consider kind of sending him out there, and was it a field position thing?
That was past our line at that point. There was a crosswind coming pretty hard from their bench, their sideline to our sideline, and we didn't feel like that was really it was a low percentage kick at that point. Could Tuck make it? Yeah, in a situation where you had to make it, but it was a pretty low percentage kick at that point, so we said no.
Coach, yesterday was obviously not the day you guys wanted, but you are 5-2 going into the bye. How do you balance putting things into perspective as far as, you are 5-2 while you are coming off probably your worst game of the season?
Yeah, I mean, you put it right in perspective. I think it's a very good point. We made the point in the locker room after the game. We don't make any excuses. We played our worst game of the season, worst game in a long time. Bengals played very well. They were very prepared, played a great game. So it's week to week. Just like you said, a week ago, you're being crowned the best ever, and we're sitting there going, whoa, it's 1 week. Now you want to say, what's wrong with the run game? What's wrong with the pass game? You guys are terrible. And we're like, whoa, it's 1 week. It's the same message from us. So that's how it works. That's how the National Football League works, We're 5-2. That guarantees us what? How many games are there? 17. So what's that make us? 5-12 at worst? Okay. The worst we can do is 5-12. I can promise you that. What's the best we can do? 15-2. All right. So we're going to be somewhere between 15-2 and 5-12. That's a guarantee. All right. How what we end up being will be up to us. How well we play.
Probably wouldn't mention the 5 and 12 for the team meeting.
We try to keep it real. Try to keep it real.
Go ahead, Luke, sir.
John, you had mentioned a few weeks ago that Derek Wolfe was feeling better, starting to train. How close is he to? I mean, do you feel like post-bye he's going to be returning to practice?
Very close. Very close. Yeah, we'll see. This week, next week, hopefully, and we'll see.
John, I think we didn't get a chance to look at the all 22 yet, but did the Chargers and the Bengals do anything to kind of just put you guys, to not limit you guys what you want to do downfield? I know you had the long throw to Hollywood, but is it kind of consistently for those past two games?
Well, I mean, I think their deep coverage is pushing out, pretty deep, and I think the linebackers are playing play action, because they've seen it a lot, so they're recognizing it pretty well and playing it. And as your point, if you don't run the ball really well, your play action pass doesn't get as much respect. So it all goes together. You've got to run the ball to throw the play action. You got to hit passes and spread them out to run the ball. Executing across the board makes everything better, and we've got to get better.
John, I know, you guys talk about stopping the run, like defense. A lot of what you do starts with stopping the run. I guess through 7 games, how would you assess how that part of defensively, and if where you guys maybe need to pick it up? Inconsistent.
I mean, we can sit there and say, well, the average is this, or if not for these plays, it's this. We've had dominant run plays. I mean, we're capable of being a dominant run defense, and we are on very many plays. I mean, very many plays, there's nowhere to run. I think a couple teams gave up on running the ball a few times, when we got the lead. But we've given up too many big runs. We've been cracked a couple times even in zero blitzes. A couple times at the end of games we've given up big runs that affect your stats for sure, but those aren't what we're looking for. So it's just not as consistent as I want to see it. I believe the players feel the exact same way.
Coach, when you hear other teams, coaches say it's different to watch Lamar Jackson on film as it is in person. Would you say that same thing would apply to Jamar Chase?
I hadn't thought about it like that.
Everyone else?
Okay, thanks.